Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our investigation into the ancient wisdom series about 36 stratagem of wartime. And it could be still relevant in today, but okay, yesterday's phrase, 上屋抽屉, was never heard of by me, a language user, native speaker. I didn't know about this until when I do this program, I have to prepare for you. And I saw this phrase for the first time in my life, 上屋抽屉, which is a strategy to capture your enemy in a space enclosure, right? And then you remove the ladder for them. They cannot escape from that space anymore. And I use human trafficking to illustrate a possible way to capture people. Okay, 偷梁换柱. Today we have 偷梁换柱, 梁 and 柱 is the building structure. 梁 is a horizontal beam and 柱 is the pillar. So in our living space, I mean, I don't really know about architecture. I mean, I don't know, not really know, but I don't know about it only enough to know like 梁 is the horizontal line to hold up the roof, and the 柱 is the pillar where 梁 have to sit on so that things don't fall on you. You have a roof over you, right? And beam and pillar are the 梁 and the 柱 are the main framework for a house to stand, for the roof to be over you safely, right? Okay, then let's go to 梁. 梁, we have this water sign, this 5-stroke, now simplified into 3-stroke water sign. Saw that many times before. It's mainstream in the middle, and then the side streams are less continuous, can get interrupted when it gets closer to the banks of the river. So this is the flowy motion. You can see, right? It's fluid. And then we have the wood symbol, upward turning, bottom turning arches, and then we have a vertical line connecting them. That's our tree, and eventually it means wood. So we have a wood bridging over the river, and then where it looks like a boat, right? With what do you call it? The bow of the boat, and with the two side kind of paddles on each side. So that means you build across the river so that people can walk over it, and then the boat can go under it. So that's the whole image of what this beam originally came from. It's just a big, long log of wood going over river. And eventually architecture becomes more complicated. Bridge building is a whole thing, right? Civil engineering stuff. And to have the arch enough for the boat to pass through, and aesthetically beautiful as well. So that's beam. But this bridge, wooden bridge, eventually got used to build a house, like a bridge over your roof as well. So that's the beam. And the 柱, we have this same wooden, because yeah, most of ancient Chinese architecture are made of wood, readily available material, and I guess easy to work with, rather than stones. Stones are more like for tombs, but for living people, it's wood structure. So wood on one side, and then 主, which is the sound maker, but also the meaning maker, because 主 come from this candle holder. You can visualize this, the whole thing, as a candle. So these are the candle holder, and this is a cup to hold the wax of the from the candle, right? And then this is the fire up there. So the whole candle thing in Chinese means the main, the master, the thinking, the mind, the brain, the light, the beam, right? Or the beacon of light sense in English. That's where you turn your face to, your faith. We're talking about religiously, like that's what you believe in, that's your hope lies to. So that's the master image, excuse me. And then we have the master, wood. Does that make sense now? Among all the woods in your house, in the frame of the house, the master wood is the pillar. That's the holder of the roof. Makes sense, right? So now we have the beam, we have the pillar. So the main arch or the horizontal roof log as the beam, and then the vertical, the main holder of the beam. So we have 梁 and 柱. Then we have 偷 and 换. We often say 偷换概念. So 偷换 often paired together in contemporary Chinese as well. But instead of 偷梁换柱, sometimes, I mean, that's a language creation of, we have a verb, we have a noun, or object, right? We have a verb and an object. Sometimes we'll pair it this way. So we have to have an action, some stuff, action stuff. We have to pair it this way. But sometimes there's two action words combined together to mean switch out, to mean exchange. So to mean replace the real deal with some fake thing over there. So that's 偷换. 偷 means steal. It came, well, the contemporary and the ancient one looks different, right? The ancient one actually didn't put a generic human figure. So this is generic human figure, simplified like that. This is a woman, like this is a gender specific figure over there. I don't know why the switch, but that's the ancient language creator putting a woman single. So sometimes in very awkward, not awkward, but demeaning concepts in Chinese characters, we often see female figure over there. I try to explain it, but still paired with woman. Some intention of the language creator, maybe creators collectively, men mostly, right? And they don't want to label themselves as steel related, so they put it to another gender. Possible, right? So, okay. The right side, we have this triangle thing. So this is a cross section of the triangle. Sometimes I mean the past, present, future, however you want to symbolize. And then left side is the boat symbol. So here is a boat with the paddles on the side. And this is another way to depict this boat. It's like a multiple. Okay, I don't know if you know about dragon boat, but every year people compete dragon boat rowing. So it's a kind of a rowing boat, but a Chinese stylized rowing boat. So many seats together, many rowers together with the paddle. I think it's one by one, like one on each side. And so to go fast, to race against each other. But it kind of looks like multiple seat boat. And then the right side here is our water sign. So interestingly, this looks like almost like a ripples on the water, right? Only two. Instead of this is a flowy water, this is like a river, the mainstream. And these are the ripples by the edge of the stream. Okay, so now we have boat, we have rippling, and we have this triangle thing. The whole thing, according to scholar, this is boat making technology back then. So we are creating a boat by hollowing the triangle, probably means hollowing the wood, and then so that it can rippling on top of water instead of sinking. So it's boat making. And I guess that hollowing, probably that hollowing of the wood. So from the appearance, it's still like a piece of log. Probably from the side view, you can see it's still a whole thing, but inside it's hollow. It has to be hollowed, right, to be floatable. So this hollowing paired with woman. So I don't know if it's kind of accusing woman to be the hollower of material. But combined, it means steel. Okay, enough of that. 换, we have 5-finger symbol. Okay, And then we have 3 finger symbol on each side. So when you have, according to scholars, again, I'm learning from scholars, of course. If you see 2 hands, 3 finger hands holding like that, that means somebody who is very respectfully like holding up things like this. Okay, this is the kind of holding with 2 hands over there. So you have some hand, 5 finger hand, which probably means more heavy-handed because you have all 5 fingers involved versus 3. 3 is enough to hold basic stuff without too much force, right? So we have like this hold, and then you have a side view human finger kind of sticking out the butt. I don't know. Sometimes language is interesting, and then we have this. We call it a. I don't know how it's pronounced now, but this is a space, right? This kind of arch thing, a space, and then we have to carve out and to signify that those are hollow. So a lot of times we use this to mean like a cave, some space with hollowing structure. We have a human on top of this hollowing structure with 2 hands like that. So it could be, we can interpret it as respectively giving humans, which is like, I'm not sure in the capacity as humans, as an offering, as a sacrifice, or as slave, as property, as, you know, something useful kind of exchange. So respectively giving up these. And I'm not sure about the hollow structure over there, what that means. Maybe back then, slave exchange are carried out on some hollow structure. It's hard to tell. It's some part of history back then that's no longer exists, so we cannot see. But in any case, the whole thing of this respectfully holding humans as labor, as property, as sacrifice up there, and then with 5 hand symbol on the side to mean switch out. Maybe there is a sort of exchange involved, that you have to respectfully give up something in order to gain something else. We don't know. So 偷梁换柱 means stealthily, like not visibly, you can see, but within it's hollowed, right? And, you know, a gendered concept. And then you switch out, you steal the beam and you switch out the pillar. That means, I translate as swap, but that's not the full connotation of this phrase. In ancient wartime, 梁 and 柱, even if, okay, I use this picture, this is 梁, I just want to visually show you in this beautiful space, fully decorated by some architecture agency, that, okay, if we see the main thing, the beam are these, right? And the pillars are these. So these are the main structure to hold the space. The rest of them are decoration. So if we want to see the main thing, these are the critical, like house functional wise critical stuff, regardless of what's in between. Like these are the main thing. So apply that in military sense. In ancient times, the formation of army it's formed by like your main man, your main most trained, disciplined, of the best warriors, so to speak, are your 梁 and 柱 are considered the beams and pillars in a formation of army. So imagine a matrix, right? Rows and lines, columns of people, and they will put the best man on the beams, like horizontal line, kind of like a frame. So the best man on the outside of the frame, and then they paired with like a filler man, like somewhere in between, less experienced, less ferocious man in between. But the best men are regarded at the formation of army as the beams and pillars in a spatial sense of matrix. They are the main holders of this form. So 偷梁换柱 means you gradually get rid of the beams and pillars of this formation of army. And then the formation will collapse, because without the main holders of the structure, the pillars and the beams, you're not going to have a form. So without the formation, it's almost like the force of this, the force, right, of this military pile of men are going to be a mess. It's not going to be organized, effective, eventually get weakened to be not even worthy to fight with, because the beams and the pillars are taken away. So how to do that, they didn't say, but the strategy, the idea is to swap out the best men of your enemy, and they are left with the fillers, and they are going to crumble eventually. So the main idea of 36 stratagem is to, in today's concept of ROI, return of investment, like strategize to place your resources very wisely and try not to involve in direct combat if you can, because they are going to harm you, right? So the idea is to weaken your enemy without doing something direct, like to hurt yourself as well. So this is one strategy, to somehow get rid of their best men. And so they deformed, basically collapse on their own without you having battle with them directly. Okay, so that's our 偷梁换柱. Cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.